welcome to Love Angels Light TV. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everybody!
And welcome back to Ms Tique. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here. Even with
I'm excited to be here myself.
What a week it has been. Have
we got some feedback?
I don't have feedback.
Okay, I'll just lower my volume just in case it's me, but I can hear it.
We'll see when people.
But you know, we don't have anyone watching us yet.
One person. It could be me. Though.
Okay. Awesome.
No, I didn't like my video, so it might be someone else.
Okay.
Say hello if you're here. You liked the video. Hello, Catherine. I hope you're well. Merry Christmas. You get a personal.
Merry Christmas, Catherine. Anyway.
Am I still feeding back for you?
No, not as much as what it was, but yeah, I don't know. Good now.
Good. Excellent. There we go. Got someone else watching that's not showing up on my screen, so that's even better.
Oh, the screen will do whatever it wants to do tonight. Hello, Barbara. I mean, I can already see light changes in mine. There's no light sprinkling. Why am I showing up that lights are coming in and out? Because it should be okay. But anyway.
Oh, I can see that. Who have you got around you? Hello, Fiona.
I know. It's happened. It's only happened a couple of times because Spirit doesn't normally have to show me any of that because I already hear them in my head. You know what? Or I shouldn't say head, in my ear. But they normally don't do that. And this is probably about the third time it's happened in all those years. But anyway, it's Christmas. They're flickering the lights because I don't have any Christmas decos around my head or whatever. So that's what they're doing. They're doing it for me. Anyway.
And if I nod, you can hear me ding-a-linging.
Do you want me to start singing Here Come the Reindeers?
The kids watched Polar Express about a week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And on that, the kid rings the bell and he can't hear anything until he believes. And I went, oh, can you hear that? At the dinner table, because I didn't take them off after I showed you what I was wearing. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so I went, oh,
welcome to the adults only Love Angels Light.
We don't have these ones very often.
That'll be my version because mine's at 10. So I'll have the adults only version, real adults only. But oh my God, don't even go there.
That would be amazing. So Ms Tique is live on her page. I'm going to put it in the comments. The link to your page. So if you finished your hour with us tonight and you go, come on, guys, that wasn't enough, head over to Ms Tique's page and join her for some more Ms Tique Magic over on her page at 10 o'clock tonight. I will be ho-ho-hoing at that point.
Ho-ho-hoing? I will, yeah. Well, mine has, for anyone who's actually interested in going across to that one, I've got raffles and all sorts of things tonight. Stack of things to, I'll use the word lightly, auction off, but it's not really auction, but you know what I mean. That's my sort of like Christmas difference, but I will be on for probably 2 odd hours, maybe more, because my motto in life, as I said last year, was that nobody should be alone for Christmas and New Year. So hence why mine doesn't start till 10 o'clock due to I will continue past midnight on both. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't like
to. Next Friday as well?
Am I? Okay, well, whatever. I think that was the plan initially, and then we've had the other things go on where, yeah.
Yes.
But again, mine's not till 10 o'clock next week either.
There you go.
So like last year, we can do the early and then I'll continue and you can go off to bed or ho-ho-hoing or fireworking or whatever.
Maybe sleeping next week.
Could be.
Who knows?
But anyway.
All right. Did you want to, because just in case there's anyone new, do you want to give us a quick, brief rundown of what you do and how awesome you are and all the important things?
Okay, we'll be here all night. No, Kidding. Sense of humour, everybody. For those who don't know you, my name is Ms Tique. I'm a natural-born psychic medium. I'm 60 and I've been listening to spirits, communicating with spirits, passing messages on from spirits from the age of 3. So I normally say 40 plus years of experience, but we all know that equation of 60 minus 3, what that equates to. But let's just say 40 plus years of experience with connecting with spirit. And, that's virtually like, the psychic side of me. But then, I've studied for years, and I have another company where I do holistic counseling and psychotherapy. But under the Mystique banner, there's still empowerment coaching, there's still motivational speaking, there's still, the naughty way of saying that is sometimes giving a kick, people a kick up the backside if they don't kind of realize the repeat patterns of what's, holding them back type thing. Eileen would know all about that. In a good way, because she teaches things along that line as well. Yes. So that's why we probably work so well together in all that sort of hoo-ha, because we kind of know. And one of my favorite sayings, which Eileen says now as well, which is fine by me, but, one of my favorite sayings is, when people have to go through that in life, and sometimes it takes, a marriage breakup or infidelity or a loss of job or whatever, you have to come back to always being the best version of yourself. Now that actually takes someone else to get in there, and not, I make joke of saying, I shake you, but do you know what I mean? It's a very different world when you have to, and I do a lot of work with domestic violence victims, and on my show later, all funds raised tonight will go towards domestic violence victims, like we did in our big event all together. But sometimes it's really hard when someone has been deflated so much. It's very hard for them to feel like they're worthy of even waking up of a morning. So, as much as we are kind of loud and funny and whatever on these shows, there is a very serious side to us that has to be gentle, that has to nurture, that, that sometimes we can't say, we need to give you a kick up the backside, because we have to nurture these people into, especially if they've gone through that trauma, to getting them back to feeling good about themselves. And, basically, connecting with spirit and passing on message from loved ones and things like that, it's to me, I always thank spirit before I start, for, where I say that my channels are open. And spirit, then I get inundated with, hundreds of them thinking, oh, who do you belong to? I'll find out all that later. But it's very empowering for the person on the other end. And sometimes there's tears of joy from, that everybody that's watching, because it's just about hearing something that's just so personal to that one person. Nothing in what I say in connecting with spirit is generalized. Nothing. Because I repeat exactly what I hear. And they'll always tell me something that will only resonate with the person that I'm reading for. And some people can kind of go, oh, I think that's me as well. And some people can gain comfort from it, that it's not really for them. And that's okay as well, because anyone who gets comfort along with, a message that may not be directly for them, that is our aim in what we do in our work. I mean, Eileen and I are extremely proud of who we are. We are authentic. We are real. And we bring through, some of the most endearing messages, and a lot of that also too comes from all those years of my experience, because I had to always dig deeper. I had to, I was ridiculed for it, but I dug so deep that now, even all these years later, sometimes I hear something that is so powerful and even so refined that it can at times reduce myself to tears. And I was kind of never that way. I just used to, deliver what I heard. But now sometimes it's so very personal that, sometimes we too feel it, and we deliver it with heart, we deliver it with passion, and that's what it's all about. So yeah. A bit longer than me in a nutshell, but
is that all you do?
What about you?
All right, Fiona, put a little comment in if you're still there. We've got Fiona who says she would love a reading.
Is Fiona still with us?
I've just asked. Pop a comment in if you're still. Yeah, it's your live is on your Mystical Mystique TV one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on that, and it'll be also on my, Mistaken Psychic one. It'll be on both.
Excellent.
If people can't find the other one.
They'll be able to find it because I just put it in the comments.
Good for you. Thank you for that. Okay. Can I just ask Fiona if there's just one or two words, because I can just see that she says she's here. One or two words from Fiona if you want something in particular. The reason why I asked, because a general that just says would love a reading, we could be here for half an hour just on that one. So if you want something specific, please drop a word or two in. I mean, I already know what I have, but okay. She says she's here, but Fiona? Okay.
There we go. Will my daughter be happy?
Okay, Fiona, what I want to say to you, and I say everything always say everything with the greatest respect. Your daughter has gone through some, when I say weird, I don't mean weird as in bad as such, but she's gone through, like, this year has been quite full on for her. And, I want to, with all due respects, like, you've done everything that you can, and you've kind of pointed her, I want to say that you've pointed her in the right direction, and you've also been the pillar of strength for her to feel like she can come and talk to you. But I also feel like there's parts of her some days that shies away from you, and that's no disrespect to you. That is more about some things that I think that she wants her own mind to kind of work out where she needs to be and where she needs to go. But I also feel like that somebody has said something. I don't feel that it's a family member, but I feel that somebody has said something to kind of send her on a different direction, if you understand what I mean there. There is some restriction around her. It's almost like she's tried to resolve this herself, but what I hear is that without true success. And that's a little unnerving for me, because I kind of want to know, even from spirit myself, is if she's tried herself and she's, obviously reached out to yourself as well. No one else is intervening when they should be, because I feel like this is an outside, this is like an outside influence. So the best thing I can actually say is, from what I hear from spirit is, and this is for you, please do not get over motherly when I say this, but I just want you to keep an eye on her, because there's some things that have been said that she's kind of taken on board and really sucked that in, so to speak. So the kind of things that have touched her heart, and the things that have been said are not quite right. So I just want you to, as I said, like, don't over mother her as such. But I just want you to be aware that if she's quiet, of course, check on how she is, but don't be always in her face, because I already hear from spirit that, because I've got like, what I want to say to him. I mean, I don't want to say Santa Claus, but it is Christmas. But it kind of reminds me of a jovial man, like, how Santa Claus is portrayed as in that way of, ho ho hoing and holding onto his tummy. But I kind of get this elder man that virtually says, I've got her. I've reached out. I've also, been looking after her. So whether that's your granddad or somebody that's even further. Wow, even further back. Because what I'm also sort of seeing there is like a really, I have to say it the way I see it, is like a really old-fashioned man. So that even could be, great-granddad that's long gone, that's kind of putting his 2 cents in it by saying, I've got her. But there is a connection there that she kind of, if I was to say to you that she's the person that has this connection that would go out, and I'm being directed to the backyard, so not necessarily the front yard, I'm being directed to the backyard. It's like that she would go out, and if there was something that she needed an answer to before running to anybody else, it's almost like she goes out and looks up to the sky, finds a particular star, and asks the question. because this gentleman comes through with an answer. So I feel that there's already an intuition thing that she has going there. And she, she's quite powerful in her own right. She doesn't quite know what to do with everything as such, but she's open enough to kind of go, do you know what? I'm going to look out for that first. So, hats off to her in trying to do all this herself and to be guided by, someone in spirit, which, as I said, I feel like it's your granddad or your great granddad. So I hope that helps.
Amazing. All right. I have Catherine. I'm coming to you. Catherine, just pop a comment in if you're still there. Because you were my first one on today.
Yes. Right. Catherine, what subject are we going to? Oh, I just saw what Fiona said. Thank you so much, Fiona. Appreciate that. Yeah. Like it when I'm spot on.
Yeah, right. I love when we do get that feedback too, because it just,
well, it's nice, they unfortunately, like, sometimes when we get hackers and things like that, there's so many fakes in the world that, when you're real, it's really hard to deal with the fake. So, any feedback we get, we really do appreciate it, because, we know what we're connecting with. Whether you guys know us personally or not, or only know us through Facebook or lives or whatever the case may be, I don't even know how old your daughter is, Fiona, but that's, I just repeat what I hear from spirit. But thank you for taking the time and actually saying that. Perfect. So Catherine is working pregnancy. Okay, pregnancy is always a tough one. As said by many, I don't shy away from it, but many do say that pregnancy or health or whatnot is a tough one. I don't necessarily shy away from it. What I will say to you though is that your work, there's issues around your work. And again, I say this every time I do a reading for someone, just in case they do take me the wrong way. So I do say everything with the greatest respect. And, I'm kind of renowned for saying that every second sentence. But because I don't want anyone to ever get offended with what I say. But directly, I actually want to say that where you throw all your effort in and all your knowledge and all your intellect is what I want to say as well into work scenarios, you're not putting all that into yourself to look further to this particular pregnancy. And that's probably the best way I can say it. Because, Spirit says that it's okay to be great at what you do at work and whatever, but if you're guns barreling there and guns barreling with a few other things that I believe are on the cards as well, pardon the pun, but you might be wanting a pregnancy and really want, but you're not actually displaying that, if that's the way of saying that as well. Okay, so coming from the heart, it's, if I was to be you saying, yes, I want to be pregnant next year because, I want a baby the year after, or at least towards the end of next year, because I really want to, get 2023 off to a great start, with having bubs and entering my next phase of life and all that sort of thing. You might say all that to yourself, but you're actually displaying other to the universe and also to another person that is kind of putting work first. So you haven't quite made, and that's why I'm trying to be very careful here, you haven't quite made that actual transition of work is work, and that's important, and my home life is important too. It's not 50-50 at this point. It's, it's more, I want to say to you, more 70-30, as I said, as much as you're saying, I want to have a bubs and I want to have it by this date, deep down, you're still really focused on all about work, all about conquering certain things else, all about trying to do the best you can, whether that's to have money up your sleeve to be able to have, bubs and all this sort of stuff, that's okay, but kind of draw back now and put it in the perspective that it needs to be, because while you're heavily focused on the other, you're misguiding your body and tensing your body up with stress that it doesn't need. So therefore, the pregnancy is not going to come easy when you all of a sudden decide, oh, yeah, I need to focus on that. The pregnancy is actually going to be harder for bubs to be formed, if that makes sense. So I kind of need you to look at where you're really sitting with this and maybe over the Christmas period or whatnot, it doesn't mean that I'm asking you to change your life. What I'm asking you to do is virtually just sit down with yourself quietly, and whether you write it on a piece of paper, like, really nut out your passions. I get it that great work, normally brings great pay, and therefore you've got to have funds behind you to have to have the rest. And you're very careful with your money. Like, I don't see you as an overspender. I don't see you as an erratic spender. I see you like very careful. But you also have to give your body and your mind the care that it needs also to welcome in this pregnancy, if that makes sense. So because I kind of see this at the end of 22, beginning 23, I kind of need you in January to put everything in perspective, put your passions where they need to be, and you can still be passionate in your job, but you can still not bring it home. And when you come home, focus on the other part of outside of work, where you want to be and how you want to bring Bubs into the world. And end of 22, early 23, Bubs will be here.
Amazing. All right, Anastasia just put a little comment in to let us know that you're still there. I can see 2 people watching on YouTube at the moment. So is one of them you?
No, I haven't even got my phone on anything. Sorry.
No, I was talking to Anastasia.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Catherine, can you just thank you for saying thank you. Can you just let me know how that all that sits with you, and where you feel that you're at with that? That would be great. Okay. Okay. May I please know what's coming towards me in love in 2022? And thanks, Arlene. My favorite. Well, I mean, my soulmate. I've been doing a lot of inner work and healing. When I laugh at soulmate, seriously, I'm not laughing thinking, oh, soulmate. I do take that very seriously. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It's just that in amongst all of COVID and whatever, it's difficult for anyone, male or female, to actually meet their soulmate, which is why Eileen and I have a bit of a giggle, about the word soulmate, because, COVID again is going a bit crazy. And it's very, very difficult for anybody to actually meet anybody, regardless of whether it's just someone they want in their life or an actual soulmate. So I'm perfectly honest in everything I say. And I'm not disregarding a soulmate, but I have to say it the way that I hear it and the way that I know that while COVID is the way it is and it's ramping up again, sure, no one's really getting overly sick with it, but the numbers are just going haywire. How can we kind of in the next few months, how can we get close to anybody, even in friends? How can we meet someone brand new when we're all a little bit hesitant in going out and exposing ourselves and being in a, maybe a nightclub or a bar or, close contact at a show or something or other? How do we all do that without silently contracting it, where we could pass it on to someone else when we don't even know we've got it ourselves? Do you know what I mean? So it's a conversation that I don't want everybody here to kind of go, oh, I'm against COVID and I'm for COVID and whatever. I don't care what anyone is, or vaccinated or non-vaccinated. Like, that's not the point. The point is whatever your status is okay because it's for you. But while we're in this zone of now, it's going, people don't even know they got it because they're not actually getting sick, and it just gets passed on, so that's why the numbers are going crazy. But what I see with you, and I don't know where you live, but what I see is coming towards November of 22, and I know you're going to say that's a really long time away, but it's actually not, because this year, with all the bad things that happened this year still flew by, right? So November 22 is actually not that far away. If you focus on it's so far away, it's actually going to feel like it, right? But that's not where we're at, okay? November 2022, I feel by that stage that I love that you've done inner work on yourself too, but with respect, I want to say there's actually still some more to do. Okay, there's something that's kind of gone on there where I feel like there's if I was to say to you, stand in front of a mirror or stand in front of me right now and tell me with your heart that you actually love who you are, I don't believe you could. Again, with respect. right? There's something that's just Spirit saying there's a little twig there that someone in past, and I actually want to say somebody that you thought was your soulmate in past, said something that, like, I want to say, as they show me, snapped off a corner of your heart. And that at this point hasn't grown back to showing me a full heart. So that kind of tells me from Spirit that you're not quite ready. You do want a soulmate, but you're actually not quite ready with everything you've done to actually welcome someone in, to be trusting enough that what the person is actually saying to you is real. Because when you're still a little bit vulnerable, anyone can say the right words and you can be sucked in. Excuse my French, but I have to say it that way because that's how I hear it. But when you're fully owning your own heart and knowing that knowing that your confidence is through the roof and really happy with who you are, you can spot those people a mile away. Okay. But because of past hurt of words and what somebody else did to you, you will be very hesitant when you get back out there. But as I said, November 2022, and I'm laughing because I'm Spirit showing me 2, and so you'll actually have a choice, but in honesty, I feel that one person will connect with you on a far deeper level, and that person then comes forward, then is creating something wonderful that ends up being your soulmate, because the other one just doesn't quite connect on the same level, if that makes sense to you. But I do feel that there's enrichment, there's happiness, there's all sorts of things, but I have to say November 2022.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to flip to this one and cover up most of our places.
Okay, I haven't connected in a little while. Legs are in a lot of pain. Trying not to have that on my mind. Trying different things to help heal. Not sure where I am headed, as I feel this is taking over a little. Can you please see if there's anything from Spirit around that, or anything from Dad and Mum, who are both in Spirit? Many things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bill, the pain. I know you're not focusing on the pain, but I'm directed to I think it's Dad. I think I've got Dad. I'm directed to him virtually saying, remember the issues with his back. So there's something that was going on with his back that I think you have as well, because he's directing me to his back and virtually pointing. Very, very specific here. I don't know if these numbers are right as such. Not that I'm questioning him, but lumbar spine 3, 4, and 5 is what I get shown. So there's 3. There's kind of like 3. So I think that's lower. Anyway, I feel that there's whatever he had and whatever you saw him do with his back, I feel like that you've got it as well. So I don't feel though it's a genetic thing that's been passed on. I actually feel that's been created by something else that you used to do as a younger person. And what I mean by that is that, you didn't care if you lifted, let's just say what most mothers do, but it's not a general thing because some people still don't do it, but lifting like a lot of heavy things at once, it's in your mind, it's like, oh, well, if I'm walking up one flight of stairs and they're past a little heavy, I'll just take them all in one go, because then I just don't have to go back and get more and more and more. Just do it all at once, right? But from years of doing that, and I do have to say a little joke that's come in from, as I say, I think it's Dad. If there's a relevance there, he says navy blue tie. So whatever that navy blue tie is, only you could tell me what that is. But it's almost like you didn't you're not a person that accepts help very well. Because and that's not you being the martyr, that's just you had to learn very quickly how to be like a strong-minded person, because that's who you are. But it was almost like, no, I've got this. So even before that saying, oh, I've got this was around, you were the one who virtually was already saying, no, I've got this, because it's like you didn't allow anyone to help you. Now when you do that and spend years of all that takes its toll. So I feel that there's some pinched nerves in there, and it's to me it's more than one. So I think you've got like a cascade of a few, and therefore causing you great pain. but you'll have to go and get that medically assessed. I mean, you probably already have, but what I want to say to you is that I want you to dig deeper. If someone says, oh, that's pretty common, don't worry about it, you're the one that's in the pain, you're the one that's going through it, you push for more information, because I feel like you're getting fobbed off in a few different areas, and getting fobbed off is never going to sort that pain. So henceforth, that pain is never going to get fixed, and it could get worse over time, especially if it ends up being bulging disc and all sorts of things. But you need to get on top of it. You need to, your GP or somebody, you need them to take you a little bit more seriously. And I say that with respect. I'm not saying you go in there and say anything silly, but it's almost like you have to get, and you shouldn't, because trust me, you shouldn't have to speak to a doctor like this, but it's almost like you have to get mad before someone actually goes, oh, what's wrong with her? Or maybe we're not looking at this right. Like, it's almost like you have to get mad at them before they actually know that you're serious. And that's really tough, right? Really tough, because people shouldn't have to get mad for someone to listen to them.
Exactly.
But okay, stop just living with it, Bill. Stop just living with it, because you need some answers, because the minute they've got answers, the minute a treatment plan can come along. Because we can't, I mean, I wish I could sometimes. I wish I could see my own spine. I wish I could see, my own brain sometimes, you know what I mean? But we can't. We need to go somewhere and get, X-ray scans, CT, whatever we need that information. We need the professionals to tell us what's actually wrong. But if you keep overusing your back, there's possibility there that a disc could bulge out. I'm being told that you don't have to stop everything you're doing because I'm telling you to. Like, I'm not that person, but Spirit says please get it checked out, because this gentleman in this blue tie, I don't know what the blue tie is, because he's not actually wearing it. He keeps showing me this blue tie as if to say, like, I'm here, I've got this blue tie, whatever that is. Maybe he did a party or something with a blue tie. Or maybe he wore blue tie at Christmas. I don't know. But he just keeps showing me this blue tie that's connected with you. But, so he's not saying that you're going to come to any further harm, but it's more about getting the answers so you can get the right treatment. Because if we all just guess, I mean, how many of us actually walk around and go, oh, yeah, I got a sore back. Yeah, I'm getting old. Got a sore back. When I gave birth to kids, I always, swung the baby on the hip. So, yeah, so I got a, bung hip, or I got a, maybe I did something then. Like, women do all this stuff, not realizing, I mean, yeah, we all swing bubs on a hip. Easy to carry a bubs around on your hip. But do we look at the consequences of that later, that you'll almost get a tilted hip, and then when it goes out, it throws you, you'll get one leg shorter than the other when you're trying to walk, and it will throw like another disc or something around your back. Like, these things will happen after you thought you've been doing the great thing of swinging the kid on the hip. We don't think about what happens later. And when you, Bill, over the years of not taking it, not even asking for any help, and carrying all these groceries and stuff like this, like, over time, it really becomes then wear and tear. And then wear and tear sometimes says, I've had enough. And wear and tear then needs to go and have whatever done to go, oh, that's wrong with it. But then the professionals can advise you how you can move forward with it and how you can get some help. And as I said, it's not a life-threatening thing. Like, Spirit is not telling me you need to get that sorted tomorrow, but I would really like you to look at that sometime soon, just for your own benefit. Because when you live in pain, sweetheart, it's just, pain can do weird things to you when you've had pain for too long. You can come across as arrogant or rude or whatever to some people, and they go, oh God, what's wrong with her? But they don't ask, because they think, oh, if she's that rude, I'm not going to talk to her, type thing. So they don't know that you're in pain. So just please seek that out for me. So I hope that helps. Perfect.
Yeah.
I like being Dr. Ms Tiqe at the same time. Just another feather to the cap.
I love when I go, I'm not a medical professional, but if you want educational stuff, I am a teacher. Medical can't do. School stuff, probably have some opinions that are valid.
Look, medical stuff with me, like I'm not a doctor. Sure, I've worked in hospitals, but if spirit tells me something that's medical, like I've said, in the intro, I will bring that through.
Yeah,
there's no point keeping it for me. It's not no interest to me as such. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know what I mean? Like the information's not for me.
No, exactly.
Someone is trying to tell someone, and if you remember, Lisa was a prime example. She'd got two doctors telling her there was nothing wrong with her knee or hip or whatever. I can't remember what it was now. And I did a reading for her, and she went and got a second opinion, and bang, she was in surgery almost immediately, and problem solved. Yeah. She'd been suffering for a long time. Yeah. Lisa's my little star angel with that. She continues to thank me, God love her, and I kind of go, it's fine, but it changed her life.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it changed her life, So I could sit here and say no medical questions, but if it actually comes through, I'm happy to give it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's right. I do the medical stuff all the time because Reiki Master, and that's the way I tune in. My hands get super hot, like Belle. The whole time my hands were burning. Need a session, need something, go get checked out.
Absolutely, and it's, sometimes people go, oh, what do psychics know? But, it depends what we hear from spirit. We're not guessing this stuff. I mean, could you imagine if I'd guessed Lisa's? Oh, my goodness. Maybe I'd be on the front paper, the fake psychics did this and painting a person healed. But, there's nothing fake about me. Oh, God, don't get me started on fakes. Anyway, who have we got? Moana? Moana? How do I say that? Moana?
I ask her every time she's on.
Oh, do you? Like well, I would think it was Moana. Anyway, beautiful. I think that's a lovely name of saying it that way. Anyway, let's go with that. Been dreaming of my grandfather who has passed on, chatting to me near water. Okay, not sure if water means anything. Always the same dream near water, which we both love water. Okay, Mo is much easier to say. Well, I think Moana sounds nice. What's his name? Jason Moana or whatever his name is?
Momoa.
Momoa. Okay, well, maybe that's my dream. Anyway, off topic. Mo, let's just go with that. That's what she said. Let's go with that. Having the same dream consecutively is spirit trying to tell you something that you're actually not picking up on. Okay, so and you Jason, my dream husband. Well, we can all, man, that would be a husband we can all share. Seriously, even though you're not supposed to share husbands, but
I don't think my husband would like that.
We won't tell him. Well, look. Mine's at 10 o'clock tonight. Could you imagine if I just said that this early? Could you imagine what mine's going to end up like? Oh, dear. Adults only on my show. That's okay. I want to get back to this. When you continually dream of the same thing, it's because spirit is actually putting that dream, in you. It's virtually spirit is standing there saying the words that take you to that place. And some people say, oh, don't be ridiculous with that. But that's how reoccurring of the same dream actually happens. Spirit is trying to connect with you. So spirit stands there and feeds you while you're asleep, feeds you all that information, and you dream it. And you continually dream it until the penny drops, or as Dr. Phil would say, the light bulb moment. This is what happens, right? So until you get that light bulb moment, you're actually not going to know what it is. But I want to say to you, when Granddad was younger, or even yourself when you were younger, who was the one who used to do everything with the fish? Like, who was, if I was to say, it's mainly a male sport that go fishing, but I kind of want to go to an area of, sometimes it was like, stuff the rod, I'll catch it with my bare hands. Like, was Granddad a bit of a beast like that? It was almost like, oh, I love the quietness and whatever else, but sometimes you've just got to grab, like, what's that old saying? Grab the bull by the horns. But it's like, it's no, bugger the line. I'll catch the fish myself. I just walk in and get it. There's a connection there with like a lot of water, but there's also history. My granddad always went, thank you. But it's the hands. It's almost like catching with the hands, right? So it's almost like, I'm better than a fishing rod type, and that's not him with an ego, but it's always like, you know what, I'm better than the rod type thing. It's just easier, and you don't have to go to all those great lengths of setting the thing up, casting the thing, and whatnot. Because I can virtually see him saying, "Bugger all that stuff," right? Takes too long. Walk in, knee deep, chest deep, whatever. Grab what you want and go cook. So he's around you, feeding you that information about the water. So if you don't like water, or if you don't have a connection with water or stuff, I strongly suggest that you go sit there, you spend some time, whether it's you choose, I always say with spirit, especially if it's a water thing, choose sunrise or sunset. Reasons why I say that is it's normally busy every other time through the day. Like, if it's a surf, for instance, you've got families and kiddies and all sorts of stuff. You can't get that peace of mind to just sit, let the waves, brush over you type thing, get wet by just sitting there in the, in the sand. People don't think you're crazy as such. They just kind of went, oh, she's, doesn't want to go in for a deep swim. But it's there where you really connect with the soul. And if you've got an amazing sunrise or sunset with you at the same time, that soul connection is even deeper. So I want to say to you, if you really want to connect with Granddad and actually talk to him, do this at his time. I hear, you may not be a morning person. I hear Granddad was a morning person. And Granddad was out there getting fish as the sun was rising. That's his time. Right? So that's what I'm being told. You can switch it up and just tell him at the water that you're sorry, you're not a morning person, or whatever the case may be. Or you might actually want to honor that as such. That's up to you. I can't tell you what to do there. But he's so keen to talk to you. He's so keen to let you know that, his spirit is there. He's guiding you in many ways. And I want to say to you that another dream that you had recently, where he was in it also, it came true. He was kind of warning you about something, and that actually came true. And he's virtually saying, you trusted me then, what is wrong with you now, type thing. And I say that with respect. I don't say there's anything wrong with you, but I say that with respect. So he's having a bit of a giggle by saying, she may not want to listen to some of this, but I need to connect with her. She needs to actually know that his words, it sounds funny because it's spirit world, but he's saying, I'm physically here, meaning that he's so here, he's so by your side. And even to the fact of, again, sounding weird, but sometimes when you walk from the kitchen to the bedroom, and I see bottled water at this point, kitchen to bedroom, or vice versa, bedroom to kitchen, there's almost like a feeling of a moth or a butterfly that kind of flits on your face, and you kind of think, oh, not that you think it's a spider, but you kind of go, what's that? Because you're half asleep half the time. But that's him giving you a kiss on your way, right? It's him trying to have another go, saying, oh, she's awake again, I'm going to have another go type thing, okay? Take yourself to the water. As I said, sunrise or sunset. He's telling me he was fishing at sunlight, and even just before sunlight, so he could catch the big ones apparently. And I have to say this in the way that he's saying it, because if you catch the big ones, you can show off with your catch. So maybe, not that he was arrogant, but it's a proud thing to physically just go in and, who cares a bugger about fishing rods? It's just go in and get my own, come home and I'll cook it, and the family's got a feast type thing. Do you know what I mean? So that's who he is. He's not saying that you have to do that as well, but the connection with him will be so much stronger when you connect deep within your own soul and feel him at the place that he loved the most, if that makes sense. He's a pretty powerful man. His spirit is really strong, and it's almost like it's almost like he's gnawing at my ear to make sure that I tell you, and yet he should be able to hear me telling you. Do you know what I mean? But that means his spirit soul is extremely present. I feel him all the time. Always feel him kissing my head, like, yeah, well, it's with respect. It's not the horrible way of saying daddy's little girl. but it's the nicer way of saying daddy's little girl, right? And that's and he's a priest. He's a giver. Okay. And even in I have fights with priests, in some churches where they say, oh, what you do is the devil, but with him being soul and all the rest of it and having a Maori culture, he would even know as a priests always say at funerals, or they say at communion, or they Sunday service, they always say that spirit lives on. When they're doing funerals, they will always say that there's a body here, but spirit lives on, and they're happy and they're fine, and they say that. But when I enter the room and try and have a conversation, it's like, oh, you're a psychic, oh, you're the devil. I'm like, but you say the same things as me. We say that spirit lives on. We say all that. It's just that priests normally believe in just Jesus, and we can speak to many spirits, and they believe the devil. But I believe with him that as much as he's a priest, his Maori culture, and even your really far back descendants, their beliefs. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know any Maori friends as such, but I kind of get the feeling that their belief is that when they pass, that their soul rises and they're left with a case, like the casing of the person. I believe that's what they say. And this is like, coming from him, that, what you see at the end is just the case of the person. Like, my soul has moved on, and my soul will come back and comfort you. My soul will come back and guide you. He seems to use the word soul more than what he uses the word spirit. So again, that's where that really, good connection with you and he, is. So you have that soul connection. But yeah, again, go to the water, welcome him to maybe throw a fish your way. Then you can brag about, oh, I was just down at the beach, and I just caught this. I'll come home and cook it. That was it. That's the funny side of that. But yeah, but I hope that helps you, and I hope that brought you some joy, knowing that his soul is so precious. I mean, I know you know that because he's your dad, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Can't catch anything. Okay. Funny. See, this is why I love connecting with spirit. Like, I'm not frightened to, some people on live say, oh, we're not doing any mediumship. Well, yeah, because on lives, if you're fake, you can be ridiculed. Yeah. Social media will kill you. Social media will tell the world that, you're wrong and all this sort of stuff. All my lives are all mediumship. I don't shy away from anything, because it gets really powerful. Eileen, you know that with me, it gets very powerful and sometimes very teary, but it's all good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Look, Tracy.
Just so you know, I'm still here. Well, that's good to know. Glad you're still
that
here.
one was actually ages ago, but she put some emojis in just before, and I think there was another one.
Okay.
Anything medical for me?
Okay.
And this might be our last one. 7:52 already.
Jeez, that went by pretty quick. Oh God, I can see myself going to 3 a.m. then this morning. No, I won't. No, I won't. Tracy, medical. You might want to know about medical. I have to take you kind of on another journey. Still medical, but I have to take you on another journey. And I know people don't like the persona that of the wording, but I have to say it, of mental health. I feel there's yes, I feel there's some physical stuff there, but I actually want to touch on the mental health, and kind of need you to be okay with that, if that makes sense. Only because there's a lot of people that have a stigma around it. And look, the other, as I said earlier, the other side of my business is counselling. I don't have stigma around it at all, because mental health can be anything from a slight amount of depression to a large amount, or a small amount of anxiety. It could be, I can't communicate with my boss properly, I don't know how to approach this. It could be a multitude of things. Mental health does not mean, and years ago, meant the word mental health everyone used to think you were suicidal. Like, I don't even know where that even sparked from. but that's certainly not what mental health is today. As I said, mental health can be a multitude of things. Mental health can be, I'm so fed up with hearing the word COVID, because some people need strategies to learn around COVID, but that falls under the banner of mental health. So that's why I say there's a whole ball game of all that sort of stuff. So, but I feel with you, and I kind of feel that in a way it kind of touches my heart a little bit, because I feel like you're left dangling with emotions. There's something gone on where how can I say this? Your emotions. It's either way. Your emotions haven't caught up with your mind, well, it's probably the other way, that your mind hasn't caught up with your emotions. So part of me wants to say that all I'm being shown is, if I wanted to do it with my hands, it's all this going on in your head, like repeatedly, things just circling in your head all the time, and you're not getting any answers. And I don't mean that from professionals, but you're trying to work things out yourself, but you're not getting any answers because you've got, like, if I was to exaggerate, I'd say 50 things going through your head, but you've at least got 20, right? There's so many things that you're wanting answers on for yourself. There's so many things that you're undecided in doing. There's so many things that have gone, how can I say, topsy-turvy in some relationships. There's so many things that other people have said to you that you kind of don't know what to do with, and all these things are compounding. So I actually want to say that sometimes, and again with respect, because it's not a physical mental thing, but sometimes I actually think that you wake up and your whole day is filled with confusion. And some people can even take that the wrong way. But the confusion is because you've got so much going on in your mind, and you're not separating one from the other. You're not kind of looking at it going, oh, shivers, I've got 10 things in my mind. I love old-fashioned things. I love sitting down. I don't care whether it's on a scrap of paper. It doesn't have to always, you don't have to always wreck good journals as such, but you get a piece of paper, you scribble those 10 things down. But then you look at one of them, and it doesn't have to be in the order that you've scribbled them down. Just look at one of them and go, wow, I mean, I have a program thing of healing, but I teach people how they physically feel like they're pulling these things out of their head and parking them. And people go, you're crazy. And I go, try it, it works. And it does. But the other way is writing them down and just choosing one of them and going, today I'm going to focus on number 4 that I wrote. And that's all you focus on. You give number 4 your best effort, your best concentration, and your best way of trying to solve it. And then you can work out whether you need help with number 4 or whether you can solve it yourself. And that's the way you'll get through of all this confusion, all this stuff that's going on in your head. I want to say your sleeping pattern is horrendous. Like, I kind of get shown that there's, apart from it being hot, like there's flip-flopping and whatever carrying on in the bed. Like, you can't get comfortable because your mind is so active. It's like you wake up and go, oh God, it was only an hour and a half ago I looked at that clock. And then you kind of pop off again, and then you go, oh God, it's only another 40 minutes. And then you're focusing on how much those time is in between, and then it's all of a sudden you're putting in your head, oh, now I'm getting all this broken sleep. So now there's another thing in your head, because then you start focusing on, oh, I've only had 20 minutes sleep or 40 minutes sleep or whatever. So when you wake up, you're exhausted. Your nights are almost like, I mean, I don't mean to disrespect anyone with menopause, but your nights is like full-on menopause, because so much is going on and on and on and on, and you kind of don't know how to pull it apart. But in general, the most important thing you need to take away from this at this point in time, I just like what you've written. That is so me. Oh my God. Of course it's you, because I see it. But in the same breath, like, if you take anything away from this, start decluttering your mind. You don't necessarily have to see a psych or whatever. If you want to have some sessions with me with counseling to start the process, that's fine as well. Like, let's do that to kind of start the journey of decluttering the mind. But until you start somewhere, it's like when we all have to declutter a cupboard. it can be so overwhelming. You kind of go, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, you look at it again and go, oh no, I can't do it today. Can't deal with it. Do it tomorrow. And at the end of the day, tomorrow doesn't come. Because every time you look at it or every time you try and deal with it, maybe something else is happening in between and maybe it's even more overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? And as I said in the beginning, I say everything with the greatest respect, but because Spirit showed me this whirlwind of a mind, it was just like I had to bring that forward about mental health because it's draining you. It's taking away energy. It's taking away focus on other things that you'd like to do because you feel like you can't, because you can't kind of concentrate or focus enough. And this is the reason. So you need to kind of declutter that and realize that that's important for you. Nobody has to know if you don't want them to know. Nobody knows that what you're writing down and going through it, that's your own business, right? You don't have to say on Facebook, hey, I'm going to declutter my mind today. You know what I mean? Like, this is your business. You have to realize that when you're worthy of yourself, it's okay. I love the saying, I know it's a cliche, but I love the saying that it's okay not to be okay.
100%.
Because when you can admit something like that, that's the first part of healing, because you're saying, well, yeah, it is okay and I'm not okay, but it's okay not to be okay. Get rid of the stigma around it. Just realize so much clutter in my head. If you need to debrief it, as I said, get in contact with me. We'll sort that out. But you need to start somewhere because it's kind of taking over your life. It's stopping you from doing all the fun stuff that you want to do in your life. And when we stop doing fun stuff, what happens then? Then we get to be cranky, pain in the butts. But that's, that was all said with respect, my love. You're not a pain in the butt, but you could be. Well, you could be if you let that over. Well, you can when you let that overrule your life. Because you get so frustrated with it, that creates the anger emotion in your body. And when you're short with people or you say, oh, bugger off, whatever, they kind of go, what's wrong with her? I'm not going to ask her, and they walk away. So then they're not even going to ask you if you're okay. So some of this, and that might relate to a few people in there. And if it does, Shorty feels like she's a cranky pain in the butt. But yeah. It's all about knowing that you're important, Tracy, and knowing that it's not a bad thing to have all that in your head. It's just that maybe you just didn't know how to solve it, and maybe that it just got overwhelming, and therefore you didn't know where to start. But you're here and you've posed the question, and Spirit told me straight away that it was stuff going on in your head, which is real. Okay, it's not rubbish, it's real. And that's where Spirit directed me. So, if that information has helped you move that along, well, that's, fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and all of your insight tonight.
You're very welcome. Always.
And I love Vivian, no worries. I actually said it right at the start, and I said to my husband yesterday, because I need to go and do family stuff for the next hour or so that we can get the kids to bed so that Santa can come later. And here he comes again. They're in the drawer, dude. But you're too short. 4-year-old, right? Ms Tique, if you haven't had enough Ms Tique Magic tonight, head over to one of her pages. They've both been linked. I'll help you in 2 more minutes, dude. There you go. There's some socks. Magic. Look at that.
Magic.
Did you shut the drawer?
Oh, no. Yes!
Okay.
Yes. If you need to have some more Ms Tique Magic, she'll be on either of her pages at 10 o'clock tonight and going until
10 o'clock tonight, everybody. Nobody should have Christmas alone. 10 o'clock tonight till midnight or shortly thereafter. There will be readings. There will be raffles. Everybody knows that I always have silk caftans. I've got 2 of those to raffle off. I've got jewelry. I've got crystals. I have got,
just out of curiosity,
$10 each. The more you buy, the more chances you are to win. What I'm going to do, though, what I'm going to say here too, with the raffle, right? Anyone who pays for a guaranteed reading on my page tonight, that will be done tonight. But with the raffle, because there's so much and they're quality amounts, right? And all money is going to charity for Christmas for domestic violence, that I'm holding the raffle over tonight and New Year's Eve. The winners will be drawn New Year's Eve. And the more entries that you're getting over both nights, every time you buy one ticket, your name goes in again. So it's not just, oh, I'll buy 5 tickets, I'm going to put you in once. If you buy 5, your name goes in 5 times. Because these caftans are $450 each. So, you know, when you've got a couple of those and crystal jewelry and all sorts of things that, you know, I've got organised throughout the week, then it's kind of like, no, we need to do this because people are worse off than us.
100%.
So
absolutely. Guys, have a really, really happy, safe and Merry Christmas. Do something nice for yourselves. Take time out every day to journal or to paint or to do something to get out of your own head. Like get out of your headspace and love yourself just a little bit more. All right. Have a lovely Christmas. I'll
see you all over on my page at 10 o'clock.
See you later, guys. Merry Christmas.
See ya. Merry Christmas, lovely.